that I've spoken with over the years
We
are
can't see you, so if you...
Okay.
And the last bit of the question, thanks.
Okay, yeah.
The last bit of that question got lost. When is the last time that you...
When was the last time that Uli had anonymity with his last name?
An interview?
When is the annuity beginning?
When did you last have anonymity with your name, with your surname being the surname it is?
Leverage my name?
Not when you leveraged it. When was the last time that you had anonymity,
Oh,
given that your surname
you
is...
mean like getting a hotel upgrade or something like that?
just kind of a sort of reflection on when you last remember having an anonymity and not having people judge you or view you through the frame of your surname?
Oh, I live a really anonymous life. I don't, you know. I mean, I'll come out with a car company and I'll do that, and that's very special, and it's great, and it's wonderful to meet, you know, people and decision makers and people who've been successful in life. I mean, this is a privilege to really come out and meet people, and to meet you. This is, being here is a privilege for me. I mean, my day-to-day, I get up really early, I spend the first hour of the day with my daughter, we talk, we hang out, I go to work, it's dark, and I work, and then I come home, I go to the gym, I eat, and I go to bed. That's sort of my day, right? I mean, it's, there's so much to do, and I think I'm finding more and more of my time, I cherish conversations more and more, and I find that the results of those conversations are actually more effective than spending that same hour in front of a spreadsheet.
And the second part of your question?
The second question was that, so I'm involved in politics in the UK, thankfully not in India, I think. A lot of philanthropists that I speak with are a little bit shy and reluctant to get involved in politics for obvious reasons, but the point I always try to make to them is that if you want to affect change, you ultimately need to have some degree of influence in the political realm. And ideally, I personally think that people who are in a position to back politicians who will do the right thing should lean in more. So instead of sort of avoiding it and saying, well, we'll leave politics to others and we'll just focus on doing good through education or other means, ultimately, I think that the leading philanthropists in the world need to flood the political space with good leaders. So I just wondered if you agree or if you'd rather steer clear of politics.
Philanthropists need to fund good politicians.
Yeah.
Sort of George Soros and the Koch brothers, neither of them quite succeeded, but...
Well, I mean, you don't want to run afoul of the nonprofit regulations, because you're not allowed to give money to political causes if you're a 501c3, which we are, so there's that. I mean, you can create a politically oriented charitable organization, and you can also do your private giving or to support. I would think that, I mean, I hate to admit it, but in San Francisco, where I'm from, we have a big homeless problem. And I'm more interested in seeing that homeless problem addressed rather than whoever gets elected. I'd rather have somebody who's effective at fixing that problem, and I really don't care what party they're at. And so far, neither of them has been able to figure that one out. So, for what that's worth.
Yeah. Has that worked in the UK, for example? I mean, you know, has that...
In what sense, Sanjoy, sorry? In what sense?
In the sense, like you're saying, you know, philanthropy or people who've been successful in politics, for example, a Karan Bilamoria or whatever in the House of Lords, has that made a difference? Because you don't necessarily see that in the way that the UK is governed, or it was governed.
I mean, I used to be a lot nicer before I was involved in politics. So it definitely beats you down, and you kind of feel it making you, because it forces you to make compromises by the very nature of the beast. But you find yourself, it's a thankless task, and people go in with lofty aspirations if they're going into it for the right reasons, and the system kind of wears you down. But I think all the more reason that people who are in it for the right reason need to go into it, because the people who are involved, who are trying to do the right thing, need 10, 50, 100, 200 more people like them to flood the space, so that the people who are trying to do good things as leaders are in the majority, rather than in the minority. And I sort of, I take Uli's point. I take Uli's point about the regulations and non-profits, not generally not being permitted to get involved in politics. But I'm separate to that. I do think that through the right vehicle, whether it's a PAC in the US or another vehicle in the UK or in India or anywhere, I do think that I sort of feel you have a strange situation where the people who are most visionary and most good are going to see the politicians rather than being the politicians.
Thanks. That's
Hi, Uli. It's been very nice hearing you and hearing. I'm seeing a different personality of yours, which I didn't know earlier, and I thank you, Mr. Nath, for inviting me here. I wanted to ask you once very small question. Mentoring is a beautiful word. Once you invest on somebody and you get to hear the first success story, what are your initial reactions when nobody's spoken to you? What thoughts come to your mind? That is my question. And then I'll tell you why I asked you this.
So if I think about the people that we've worked with, there's this acceleration that happens.
Yeah.
And that acceleration is really rewarding. Like somebody shows up with kind of an idea and they're still in sort of this, and all of a sudden it crystallizes and they go and then they find what their purpose in life is. And that's really rewarding. And I have to admit that I didn't really have a mentor early on, and I wish I had. And so that crosses my mind.
You are a Maybach, and you've spoken like a Maybach, and I'll tell you why I say so. Typically, a lot of others, when they hear the first of the successes, they immediately pen it down, and they try to create a model to go for mass production and become a Volkswagen, not a Maybach. So you hit a success on one particular area, maybe education, public health, and it works for a very small community. Next, you want to just scale it up. And somewhere, when you run a not-for-profit organization and you want to scale it up like an industry, you need a lot more of resources. And you realize human development is not exactly mass production of cars. And when I heard your story, when I was hearing all that you had to say, I was discovering a different part of your personality, and I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think on behalf of all of us, and Anubhav and Alka and Ashok, thank you so much, Uli. It's been a privilege to have you in India. I hope you continue to return and continue to be engaged with so many different projects. All of you have chai outside where you can, or rather wine and gin and tonic where you can speak with Uli and meet with him. And thank you, and do remember that on Anubhav's behalf, I don't think he'll talk to you about it, but this exhibition that you see is again something that he has mentored. So these two worldly artists, he's mentored over the year. Worldly is something that is done on house walls in parts of Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, putting them onto canvas in this way and taking that tradition and creating into a contemporary black and white exhibition in the way that it is. It's primarily mentored by Anubhav, and that's the reason why we value the work that the Ojas Art Foundation does. So thank you, Anubhav.
Thanks, Sanjoy, for the sales pitch. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. And now I would request Vicky to come here and help felicitate the speakers, and also Mom and Dad, please join us.
Actually, can I interrupt for 1 second? Yeah. I have a small gift for Anubhav.
Thank you so much. You're like,
And I also have a gift for you.
you're like, it's Christmas.
And you all get a gift bag on your way out with a small something from the Maybach icons who donated some small treats for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wiki is, this is something very special where we have Wiki and who's been like a connector for all of us doing this. And mentored by Sanjoy, Uli, and myself. Yes, because you're speaker. Thank you so much. Come, we'll get a picture. Thank you, everyone. Please join us for some food, khana, pina, some cocktails, and photographs in the garden.